I want you to imagine two apartments. They are in the same city, in the same neighborhood, with almost the same rent. From the outside, you would assume the people living inside are in similar financial situations. But once you step through the door, the difference becomes impossible to ignore. The first apartment belongs to someone earning $95,000 a year. Inside, there is a huge 75-inch television mounted on the wall, an expensive leather sectional, a kitchen packed with appliances that are barely used, and closets filled with clothes that still have price tags attached. The spare bedroom is no longer a bedroom. It has become a storage room for things that were bought, forgotten, and never touched again. This person looks successful from the outside, but every time they check their bank account, they feel pressure in their chest. They are only 2 missed paychecks away from a serious financial crisis. Now imagine the second apartment. This one belongs to someone earning only $52,000 a year. The furniture is simple but comfortable. The television is modest. The kitchen contains only the tools that are actually used. The closet is filled with clothes that are worn regularly. The spare bedroom is still a real bedroom. This person checks their bank account with calm confidence. They have 18 months of living expenses saved, and they invest 20% of every paycheck. Same city, same neighborhood, similar rent, but the person earning almost half as much has far more financial security. This is not really a story about income. It is a story about the hidden relationship between money and possessions. The first person is not obviously irresponsible. They do not gamble. They do not have extreme addictions. They simply built a lifestyle that requires almost every dollar they earn to maintain. The second person discovered something most people never fully understand. Owning less does not mean living worse. It means living deliberately. And deliberate living creates financial margin. That margin is what separates people who always seem to have money from people who never do, regardless of income. The truth is that every object you own has a cost beyond the price you paid for it. Most people only think about the first cost, the number on the receipt, but there is always a second cost. That second cost includes storage, maintenance, mental energy, and opportunity cost. A treadmill does not only cost what you paid at the store, it also takes up space in your home. If that treadmill occupies 20 square feet and your living space costs real money, then you are paying year after year just to store a machine that may mostly be used to hold clothes. A boat is even more obvious. The purchase price is only the beginning. You still need insurance, registration, cleaning, repairs, winter storage, maintenance, and equipment. Even if the boat rarely touches the water, it continues to take money from you. The same principle applies to smaller things, too. Every item you own has to be cleaned, organized, stored, repaired, insured, moved, or eventually thrown away. Possessions take up physical space, but they also take up mental space. Clutter creates stress. Too many choices create decision fatigue. A home full of unused items quietly drains your attention. And then there is opportunity cost. Every dollar locked inside something you do not truly need is a dollar that cannot be invested. A $15,000 home gym may look like a fitness purchase, but that same $15,000 could have grown into much more over time if it had been invested instead. You did not only buy the gym equipment, you traded away part of your future financial freedom. This is why many possessions cost more to own than they cost to buy. The purchase price is only the entry fee. The real cost continues for as long as the object remains in your life. Minimalists are not avoiding possessions because they hate nice things. They avoid unnecessary possessions because they understand the true cost of ownership. And this brings us to the first money rule. Rule 1. Calculate cost per use before buying anything. Before making a purchase, ask yourself one simple question. How many times will I realistically use this? Then divide the total cost by that number. This gives you the real cost per use, which is often a much better measure of value than the price tag. A $200 jacket worn only twice costs $100 per wear. but a $400 jacket worn 200 times costs only $2 per wear. In a practical sense, the more expensive jacket is actually cheaper. This calculation destroys many impulse purchases immediately. That $300 kitchen gadget may seem exciting in the store, but if you only use it twice a year, it costs $150 per use in the first year. That is an extremely expensive way to perform one small task. Meanwhile, a $30 tool you use every week may cost less than 60 cents per use over the first year. That is real value. Cost per use also shows which expensive purchases can be wise. A $2,000 mattress used every night for 10 years costs roughly 55 cents per night. That is excellent value for something that affects your sleep, health, energy, and daily performance. A $1,500 espresso machine used every day for 5 years may cost less than $1 per use. If it replaces regular coffee shop visits, it could even save money. The math cuts through emotion, marketing, and social pressure. It separates purchases that actually improve your life from purchases that only feel exciting in the moment. Rule 2. Apply the replacement test to everything you already own. Walk through your home and look at each item carefully. Then ask yourself, if this disappeared today, would I spend money to replace it? Be honest. Would you really buy that kitchen appliance again? Would you replace those clothes you have not worn in 18 months? Would you purchase another version of that hobby item you forgot you even owned? For many possessions, the honest answer is no. That means those items are not in your life because they still matter. They are there because of inertia. They may have been impulse purchases, gifts you felt guilty throwing away, or reminders of hobbies and identities you no longer have. These items have negative value. They cost you space, energy, attention, and maintenance, but they no longer provide real benefit. Minimalists remove anything that fails the replacement test. If it has value, they sell it. If someone else can use it, they donate it. If it serves no one, they let it go. At first, this can feel uncomfortable, but after the process is complete, it often feels liberating. Rooms feel larger. Cleaning becomes easier. Decisions become simpler. You know where everything is because everything that remains has a purpose. The goal is not to live in an empty home. The goal is to live in a home where every object earns its place. Rule 3. Never upgrade out of boredom. Many people with decent incomes have very little wealth because they constantly replace things that still work. Their phone works perfectly, but a newer model has a slightly better camera. Their television is fine, but a new one has better contrast. Their car is reliable, but a newer version looks more impressive. Their furniture still functions, but they are tired of seeing it. These upgrades feel like progress, but in many cases they are wealth destruction disguised as improvement. Minimalists follow a simple principle. Do not replace something that still serves its purpose. A phone that makes calls, sends messages, runs apps, and performs the tasks you need does not need replacement just because a new phone exists. A car that reliably transports you does not need replacement just because someone else bought something shinier. Boredom is not failure. Novelty is not necessity. A newer version is not automatically a better life. An item becomes a true replacement candidate only when it genuinely fails to perform the job you need it to do. Everything else is marketing trying to convince you that you have a problem. Rule 4. Create friction for spending and ease for saving. Human behavior usually follows the path of least resistance. If spending is easy and saving is difficult, you will spend. If saving is automatic and spending requires effort, you will save more. Minimalists design their environment so the right decision becomes easier. Spending friction can be simple. Remove saved credit cards from online stores. Delete shopping apps from your phone. Unsubscribe from promotional emails. Avoid browsing stores without a specific purpose. Use a 24-hour waiting rule before buying anything non-essential. This one rule alone can eliminate many impulse purchases because most desires fade when they are not acted on immediately. Saving should be made as automatic as possible. Set up transfers to investment accounts on payday. Keep only a limited amount in checking. Treat saving as a fixed expense, not as whatever is left over after spending. This matters because willpower is unreliable. It gets weaker when you are tired, stressed, bored, or emotional. Systems are stronger than willpower. Someone relying only on self-control may eventually buy something impulsively. But someone who removed the shopping app, deleted saved card details, and created a waiting rule has already made impulsive spending harder. Minimalists do not assume they will always make the best decision in the moment. They build systems that make better decisions happen automatically. Rule 5. Count your possessions regularly. This may sound extreme until you do it. Counting creates awareness. Awareness prevents unconscious accumulation. Pick one category and count it: shirts, shoes, kitchen tools, books, electronics, hobby items. Most people are shocked by the numbers. They think they own 15 shirts and discover they own 47. They think they have a few kitchen gadgets and realize an entire drawer is full of things they rarely use. The act of counting changes behavior. Once you know you own 47 shirts, buying another shirt feels different. You are no longer just buying one more. You are increasing the collection to 48. The absurdity becomes visible. Minimalists often set limits for categories. For example, a fixed number of clothing items, a one-in, one-out rule, or a maximum number of books, gadgets, or decorative objects. Limits prevent lifestyle creep. Without limits, possessions expand to fill whatever space is available. With limits, every new item requires a conscious decision. If something comes in, something else must go out. That friction protects your money, your space, and your attention. Rule 6. Rent or borrow before you buy. Many purchases are connected to temporary excitement. You get interested in camping, so you buy a tent, sleeping bag, stove, lanterns, boots, and gear. A few months later, the equipment sits untouched. You become interested in photography, so you buy a camera, lenses, bags, lights, and accessories. Then the hobby fades. You imagine yourself kayaking, skiing, woodworking, cycling, or playing music. So you buy the equipment first and discover later that the interest was not as strong as you thought. Minimalists reverse this process. They rent or borrow before committing to ownership. Want to try camping? Rent equipment for the first few trips. Want to try woodworking? Borrow tools or use a shared workspace? Want a kayak? Rent one several times before buying. This approach does two things. First, it reveals whether the interest is real or temporary. Many hobbies feel exciting at the beginning, but the excitement fades quickly. Second, it helps you understand what you actually need. Beginners often buy too much or buy the wrong things. Renting allows you to learn before you spend heavily. This prevents your home from becoming a museum of abandoned enthusiasm. Rule 7. Understand the lifestyle multiplier effect. Most purchases do not stand alone. They create a chain of related expenses. A boat requires a trailer, storage, insurance, maintenance tools, safety equipment, registration, cleaning supplies, and possibly a vehicle capable of towing it. A home gym may require flooring, mirrors, storage, ventilation, and even renovations. A pool requires chemicals, cleaning tools, covers, furniture, repairs, and landscaping. A motorcycle requires protective gear, storage, maintenance, insurance, and sometimes transportation equipment. The first purchase triggers the second, third, fourth, and fifth purchase. This is the lifestyle multiplier. A $5,000 item may actually become an $8,000 or $12,000 lifestyle once all supporting costs are included. Minimalists calculate the full ecosystem before buying. They do not ask only, "Can I afford the item?" They ask, "Can I afford the lifestyle this item creates?" The multiplier effect also works in reverse. When you eliminate one major possession, you often eliminate many related expenses. Selling the boat does not only remove the boat, it removes storage fees, insurance, registration, maintenance, cleaning, and repair costs. The savings are larger than they first appear. Rule 8. Define enough before your income rises. This is one of the most important rules. Many high earners remain financially stressed because they never define what enough means. Their income increases, so they upgrade their lifestyle. The new lifestyle becomes normal. Then they need another income increase to feel progress again. The cycle continues forever. Someone earning $300,000 can feel just as trapped as someone earning $80,000 if their expectations and expenses rise at the same speed as their income. Minimalists break this cycle by defining enough in advance. They decide what kind of home is sufficient, what kind of car meets their needs, what level of comfort is genuinely satisfying, what wardrobe is enough, what lifestyle actually supports peace rather than pressure. Then they earn toward that target instead of constantly moving the finish line. This might mean deciding that a modest home is enough, even if you could qualify for a larger one. It might mean keeping a reliable car while your coworkers buy luxury vehicles. It might mean continuing to wear the clothes you already enjoy instead of upgrading your wardrobe every time your income improves. Defining enough creates a finish line. Without it, you are running an endless race. With it, every dollar above your enough level can go toward savings, investments, and freedom. A person who defines enough at $60,000 of annual spending and later earns $150,000 can build wealth quickly. The difference becomes fuel for financial independence. But someone earning the same $150,000 while constantly upgrading may save almost nothing. Income matters, but clarity matters more. Rule 9. Measure wealth by optionality, not accumulation. Most people measure wealth by what they can show: houses, cars, clothes, electronics, vacations, and visible symbols of success. Minimalists measure wealth by what they can choose. Can you leave a job that is damaging your mental health? Can you take 6 months off to help your family? Can you move to a new city for a better opportunity? Can you start a business without immediate income? Can you retire before 65? Can you say no to money when the opportunity violates your values? These choices are real wealth. They are only available when there is a large gap between income and expenses. A person earning $200,000 but spending $195,000 has very little freedom. They are chained to their income requirement. A person earning $80,000 but spending $45,000 has far more optionality. They can absorb disruptions, take risks, and make decisions based on preference rather than panic. Minimalists understand that freedom requires liquid resources more than physical possessions. Money trapped inside an unnecessary car cannot protect you during a crisis. Money locked into excess house payments cannot fund a career change. Money spent on objects cannot buy back your time. Every purchase is not just an exchange of money for an item. It is an exchange of optionality for ownership. Sometimes that trade is worth it. Often, it is not. Rule 10. Practice cyclical decluttering instead of annual purging. Many people try minimalism by doing one massive cleanout. They throw away or donate hundreds of items, feel lighter for a few weeks, and then slowly accumulate again. 2 years later, they are back where they started. Minimalists avoid this by decluttering in cycles. Instead of one huge annual purge, they do small, regular reviews. Each week, they notice what came into the home. Each month, they review one category. Each quarter, they look at the overall pattern of accumulation. This catches clutter early, before it becomes overwhelming. Removing 3 items a week is manageable. Removing 300 items once a year feels exhausting and is easy to postpone. Cyclical decluttering also builds awareness. You begin to notice which categories grow too quickly. You see which emotions trigger spending. You recognize which marketing tactics work on you. You stop treating clutter as a one-time problem and start treating it as a system to manage. Here's a simple way to start. This week, walk through your home and apply the replacement test. Find 10 items you would not replace if they disappeared. Sell them, donate them, or remove them. This month, Use the 24-hour rule for all non-essential purchases. Track how many desires survive the waiting period and how many disappear. This quarter, count your possessions in 3 categories that usually accumulate: clothing, kitchen items, and entertainment items. Set a realistic maximum for each one. Then define enough across your largest spending categories. What home is enough? What transportation is enough? What clothing is enough? What lifestyle is enough? Write those answers down. Return to them whenever temptation appears. Over time, the transformation compounds. You own less, so you spend less. You spend less, so you save more. You save more, so you feel more secure. As security grows, the emotional need to buy more begins to fade. That creates a virtuous cycle. Spending less builds savings. Savings create confidence. Confidence reduces emotional spending. Reduced spending accelerates financial freedom. The opposite cycle is destructive. Spending everything creates insecurity. Insecurity creates stress. Stress leads to more spending for temporary relief. More spending deepens insecurity. This cycle can continue until a crisis forces change. The choice between these 2 cycles matters more than income alone. A high earner trapped in the destructive cycle may build nothing. A modest earner living deliberately can build real freedom. Minimalism is not about suffering. It is not about rejecting comfort. It is about recognizing that most consumption does not truly improve life. Once basic comfort and security are covered, more possessions often add less happiness than people expect. Minimalists choose to spend enough to live well, then redirect the rest toward freedom. They end up with less stuff, but more life. The person earning $52,000 with 18 months of savings did not get there through extraordinary income. They got there through extraordinary clarity. The person earning $95,000 and living 2 paychecks from crisis did not fail because they earned too little. They failed because they never questioned the belief that more stuff equals a better life. Both paths are available. The real question is simple. Do you want to own your possessions, or are you comfortable letting your possessions own you? The math favors the first option. So does your peace.